Still sitting in a truck seat that's older than your favorite pair of work boots? Your back has been filing complaints for years. If your seat is worn out, sagging, or just plain uncomfortable, it's time for an upgrade. Head on over to seatspecialist.com. Check out their selection of quality replacement seats built to keep you comfortable mile after mile. And don't forget to use promo code TR10 4U to save 10% on your order. Seatspecialist.com, because a better ride starts with a better seat.
Welcome back to That's Delivered podcast, where we talk about people who keep America moving, from drivers hauling freight to innovators running operations behind the scenes. Today, I'm talking with John Fairclough, the founder and president of Resicom Group, a fourth-generation family-owned facility maintenance company that serves some of the biggest facilities, retail, hospitality, and commercial real estate. Companies like Target, Sephora, Lululemon, and Best Buy. Under John's leadership, Resicom has grown from a small local painting company to a team completing over 1,000 jobs a day across 50 states, plus Canada, Puerto Rico, and Guam. We'll dig into how that kind of scale happens and what it takes to manage the crews across the country, and how he keeps family values and trust at the center of everything. John, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ray. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. That's great. I heard you guys are doing a lot of great things over there. You got things to celebrate. Before we get into all that, we want to talk about your journey and how you got into the company, how it evolved to what it is today. Just take us back to the business where it starts with generations ago as a painting company. How did it evolve into a nationwide facility service leader?
Sure. So my great-grandfather, who's on the wall here behind me, he was a tradesman, and he didn't start off that way. He started off as a mechanic, actually, and then he became a tradesman when things were lean, and he had to put food on the table. So he went to work, and then he became a painter, and then he brought his sons into the business, and then their sons, and so on. And so I had all these generations ahead of me that were in the trades. And so I actually founded my company and built that. I worked in different family companies. There's probably a dozen of my relatives that own their own businesses in the trades. But then I started my own, and then I was the one that grew the largest, the fastest, and all of that. And so I ended up employing a bunch of those people that were in generations before me, and I had all these generations working with me.
That's cool. I like that you keep the picture right there. So keeps a good reminder of how it all started, helps keep you grounded. I mean, where was there a moment where you realized that Resicom was going to expand far beyond local work?
It was pretty early on. I had experienced a lot of success with it. So when I was 23, I started, and then when I was 24, I had over 80 people going, and I had no money, and I had to figure out every part of it, how to make a business go and grow, and that's what I did. So it was a lot of hard, long days and that, but I loved it.
That's sweet. And man, that's the hard work pays off. I mean, when you do great things for other people, I think that's comes across in not just at work, but also in your life. And how did you balance tradition with innovation when a company has a kind of, I guess, legacy behind it? How do you manage that growth and making things to keep up with the times, per se?
Sure. So one of the great things for me was that I had more of an innovative mind, and I was in an old industry. So anything that's in the construction services, it's been around for a while. It's kind of a low tech environment usually. And so I was able to take my concepts and principles and apply it to this old world kind of business, and drive a lot of innovation, a bunch of thoughtfulness around how to scale something, how people actually learn, and then developing training that aligns with that. And so if you want to deliver consistently excellent service, you really have to understand what that is, what are the components and drivers of it, what enables it, and then make sure that you work that into your process. So that service design became super important for me very early on.
Nice. Great service. I mean, especially if you got teams that are scaling operations nationwide, huge reach, completing over 1,000 jobs a day. I mean, man, that's pretty massive. What systems or logistics make that possible?
Well, we have a bunch of local support. So we have people that contractors that we work with in every area across the country. And so basically anywhere where retailers are, our clients are all retailers, or a bulk of them are retailers, restaurants, and other businesses like that. And so we have to service them. So wherever they're located is where we have to have a presence. And sometimes it's easier to fill tickets that are in major metropolitan areas because there's a lot of tradesmen and all that in those areas. So when you get out into those rural reaches where the retailer or restaurant still wants to have a presence, those are a little tougher to service. And so you have to develop a great way of operating. And so one of the leading edges for us is how can we be a great client to our vendors? So we want to be a great client for a vendor for our clients. We want to be a great employer for our team, but we want to be a great client for the vendors. And that piece is really, really important.
Nice. I mean, setting those goals and keeping the expectations high, I think it's going to, show, especially when it comes to the customer and the value that you have to offer. What about trucking and logistics? It play a big role in the service delivery. How important is it to be reliable when it comes to transportation and coordination to your operation?
It's if the material isn't on site, we can't do our work. So it's critical, and even how we receive that material. If we're working in a store, for example, and the store personnel are there to receive it, a lot of times they'll receive it, and if it's a small item, and they'll misplace it. And so it was shipped, it was there, it was on time, but nobody could find it. We've had materials thrown out by the team not knowing, and so it's such a crucial element to make sure that the materials are there where we need them, that we send our construction manager to the site to receive them, even if it's something small, so that we always maintain that control of the item. And in doing so, it's obviously it's developed out of the issues with people misplacing things. So always kind of controlling that piece of it is super important to us.
Perfect. That's great. I mean, sometimes stuff can arrive there on time, but it could be damaged. And you're like, man, we got to start all over. It's very important. So
Sure.
what has been one of the biggest challenges in managing a workforce that spreads across multiple time zones, even countries, like you said, Guam? Yeah.
So we have a great team, and the team is really understands that their role is to help that vendor be successful. And so it sets the dynamic for the relationship. And when that is sound and they know that you're willing and able to help them and you're an active participant in it, rather than looking at them for just through the lens of everything they've done wrong, it's this kind of encouraging environment. So if your role is to manage the vendors, you manage them to be successful. So you don't get this built-in excuse that says, "Oh, this person didn't do it." We go back. We blame upwards, not downwards. And so whoever's responsible for that person is the one that carries the weight on that. And by doing so, even though maybe that frustrates the team a little bit, or it has frustrated the team a little bit, if you look at it, we don't want to have a built-in excuse that's you're always able to blame somebody else. You have to find a way for management to be able to blame themselves and look at their own behavior and modify accordingly. And in doing so, it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to have this situation where we know that our team is being cool to work with, because if you're not cool to work with, people won't go above and beyond. And there's a lot of times where you need them to go above and beyond. And so we know it in their scores. So basically how fast we are on site, how quickly we turn over the project, how strong our updates are. These are all measurable items. And so you can't be successful in the role of managing the vendors if you're not cool to work with for the vendors. They have to want to do the steps that you're asking them to do.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, because that's the thing that sticks with people when the job is done. Like, how was it working with those guys? Do I want to work with them again?
Exactly.
Man. So leadership, company culture. I mean, that's huge. I mean, you're running the 4th generation business. Is that right?
Well, so I'm the founder, so I'm 1st generation, but 4th generation in this line of work. I just had a different take on it, my grandfather, they were traditionally painters or they were remodelers. I just took that. My mind is different. Like, they liked doing the work. I like building the business. So I'm a scaler. So anything I figure out how to make it go, and then I put it on supercharge, and that's been my experience. And so I need to have the support of a lot of people around me, because I'll go too fast. If like I can't have one assistant. If I had one assistant, they would quit inside of a week. So I need multiple people that I'm able to work more intensely on a smaller like wave of items, and then work with another person, work with another, and that's how I've been able to scale so quickly.
Man, so it's like a classroom type setting where people can just get these, think tanks or work rooms where they just come up with great ideas together and then they implement it. So I think that's amazing. To
Thank you.
also give up that control to individuals to show their potential, and let them grow. So I like this supercharged idea. I think that a lot of people can learn from that too, because the more you expand your knowledge with other people's help, their talents can be used to help grow your business, and they have a gift that they can give to others as well. So I like how you make other people shine. That's nice.
It's kind of hard to build a super strong company without a strong support team around you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to find strong support people around you that you don't cultivate and develop. So if you don't make the investment into your people, don't be surprised that they're not able to support you in the manner that you need to support. And so I used to have a larger leadership team, and they had varied ideas on what we should do. And I made mistakes of giving them too big of a voice in the direction, and not really holding them accountable to the overall direction of the business. And it cost me a lot. Just time, money, effort, all of that. Even my hair color, that's the biggest culprit for what it aged me a bit. And I'm trying to share that message with people that says, be yourself and hold true to that. And when you do, you don't have the as much of that anxiousness around avoiding making a mistake. And so now all of our companies are basically led by two people. This pair of women that are dynamite, fully supportive of the vision where we're trying to go, and then they have people that support them, and there's ongoing regular discussions of us together, and it takes away the things that would take me off track. And so I have this level of intensity around the things that I'm solving, and having other people that can run with those. I love that I've turned over those responsibilities to them. And then I get into the position of just being an advisor. I'm helping them accomplish the goals that I've entrusted to them. And that's a really healthy position for me.
That's awesome. I think that's great. You're not pigeonholing the company or letting them fly. So that's huge. I mean, how do you stay consistent with your values and the things that make you you? Like you said, you have to be you. So how do you stay consistent and stay grounded?
Well, core values are more than a marketing slogan for me. So I want to attract people that these values resonate with. And so one of them is that you're going to honor the promise. And the common sense of that is you do what you say, and you meet the obligations. But the uncommon insight of that is that you're here to make us a better, stronger company. Otherwise, why would we hire you?
Yeah.
So if you're not going to make us a better, stronger company, I'm not going to hire you. And so when you just look at that, saying that's one of our core values, the burden is put on the person to make sure that they are putting the company's interest at a high level, and that they're actively working towards that. Now, on the flip side of it, we have to honor our side of that. And that, as the employer, it's saying that your career is safe in our hands. Otherwise, why would you entrust it to us? And so these are unwritten, right? But this is what it is. This is ultimately, if you don't believe that your career is best off in my hands, don't put it in my hands. And if you're not going to make us a better, stronger company, we don't want you here. And having that kind of mindset allows us to be more free within the company. So we don't have to worry about saying the wrong things in front of the people or whatever the case is, because we're all in to make the company go. Now, as the company's grown, it's been more difficult to keep that intact, as you have more managers interacting, and maybe the managers don't have the same level of mastery over the core values. But this continuous push towards it, weaving together someone's career development plans to it, outlining what their next position is, like you're in this role and that's a stepping stone for these other roles. spending a lot of time on that has been really helpful for us.
Nice. So, yeah, well, how do you see if someone's willing to give their best? Maybe share that with someone else that's trying to figure it out. How do you see if someone can say it, but there's actions? What does it say? That saying, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
How do you go about gauging that?
That's a great point that you bring up. If we listen to everybody, their own description of themselves, they're all the greatest, and you can't have that, right? And if it comes to basketball, we all know it's Michael Jordan, but we can't. Well, we can't. If being from Chicago, I may be biased, but I still think I'm truthful.
Love it. Yeah, I like that.
But I believe that some things we know because we know them, and then there's other things that we know when we see it when it's out of place. And so if we look at what are some of the signs that somebody is not all in, their response, the way they criticize other people, the statements that they make. Like if someone says, oh, I'm overwhelmed. I've learned that overwhelmed does not mean that they're overworked. Overwhelmed often means I'm doing a bad job and I know it, and I don't want it to be blamed on me. And I know that sounds a little bit wonky, but if we listen to people's words, they often tell you what's going on. If they're an open complainer about things and they're critical about a lot of things, okay, that's one sign. And then let's say you push back on the criticism a little bit and they double down on it, they're revealing where they really stand on that. So you can see that the situation might be a little bit sicker than at first pass. And so it's just this process of kind of going through and saying, hey, this looks off. Let's challenge that. Let's question that. And oftentimes it's just like the plain question, Ray, are you all in for this? Yes. Okay, here's some of the things that look like you're not all in for this. Because I won't entrust, this is a very important point. I won't entrust, let's say you were responsible for sales and we needed to add 10. If you only believe that we can get 8 and you don't believe that you can get 10, I won't give you that responsibility because I can't give an expectation to someone who doesn't believe that they're going to be able to hit it. Wow. Now, a lot of people will shy away from taking on that challenge then. And so for them, then they don't have an opportunity to be promoted. Now, why would I promote somebody who doesn't believe in it? I wouldn't. Why would I promote somebody who always lowers the expectation to make sure that they hit it? Neither of those people do I want to have in charge of anything that's important to me. And so it kind of creates this environment where you're able to see that someone, hey, they're willing and able to do something, then they put the effort in. Then if they fall short, that's different than if someone wasn't willing or wasn't putting forth the effort. So if someone's all in, they try and they fall short, we've got a lot to learn. Why didn't it, and we can explore that. And there's a lot of grace given for that, but not the other way.
I like that. Yeah. Especially in sales. Sometimes they can come up with a number. You're like, man, how did they get that number? But if they can see the path there and believe that they can get it even further and reach that goal and make the company happy, make the client happy. I mean, that is a huge thing. I mean, you guys are working with some of the world's biggest brands. What do they value most in a maintenance partner? Like Target. I mean, is that right? Target, you got Lululemon. I mean, those are big brands. How do you do it?
They want you to do what you say. So they love it. They love it when you can solve the problems that they have. They love you even more. Like, so if they give you the challenge and you're able to complete it, that's great. It's like, that's a standard, really strong relationship. I need, actually, you deliver it. Great. Our strongest relationships are when we solve the challenge they didn't give us. So if I solve a challenge that they didn't give me, it shows them that I'm thinking through other ways of optimizing whatever it is that they have going on. And the type of vendor who provides these kinds of insights is much more like a partner than someone that says, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so you need both. You definitely need people that will do what they're told, as we have to build our team the same way. But having that ability to solve challenges that they haven't given us gets us into more strategic conversations where we're able to drive a solution that delivers incredible value. And so in trying to pursue clients, I'm looking for those where I can deliver incredible value, and that's going to be with somebody that wants to have a partnership. And so the key criteria for me for a client, like the ideal fit, is that they demand results. That way they're looking at the numbers. And if they're looking at the numbers, they have to look at them in context, and that's really important. The second part is that they crave partnership, because to deliver great service, you have to put in an infrastructure in place. And if I have the feeling that you're not going to give us any grace, and it's just like you're only as good as your last job, there's no investment. You can't make that investment. That's a highly risky investment. And then the third part is that they want to continuously get better, and that allows our creativity and problem solving to shine. And so, demand results, crave partnership, and want to continuously get better. If they have those characteristics and those are important to them, that's a phenomenal fit for us. Then, as long as they have enough locations and budget to move the needle for us, you've got our definition of an ideal fit client.
Man, that sounds great. Wow. That's a great recipe. I can see why it's successful and why you guys are doing the numbers that you're doing. I mean, your growth and your entrepreneurship, it says it all. You know, you guys are doing great things over there. What advice would you give entrepreneurs or small business owners, and maybe even trucking or logistics, who wants to scale their service nationwide?
Well, first thing I would say is be you, be yourself. And I don't know any life worth living where your personal peace is not at the center of it. And so it's very easy to not be peaceful when you're trying to be someone else. So be yourself. I believe dignity is God-given, and we never lose it. We always have that. And so everybody has value just because they're a person. And so to try to encourage someone to be more like someone else, when comparison kills all joy. And so to say you're not as good as this other person or anything like that, there's a struggle there. So I would go back and say, be yourself, and then find the type of work that you love to do. I love to solve problems, and I love to step away from the solution. So you got to remember that. So if I love to solve problems and I love to step away, that means that the solution must be scalable. And so I want to design things in that way. And so the more intense and more difficult the challenge is, the more I love it. And it's not because I'm sadistic and like to beat myself up. It's because I really love solving things that take a lot and where other people can't do it. There's something affirmational about that for me. And so if somebody has something, instead of thinking about it in terms of, hey, I love sports, therefore I want to be in sports and I want to do this. Like, I love presenting sports to people, and I love discussing that. Okay, well, maybe that a newscaster or podcaster around sports or something kind of starts to fit because the activity is what you like, and then you find a spot where you really like to deploy it. But I wouldn't say, oh, you like sports, therefore be in sports. I'd say, what type of thing do you like to do?
That's awesome. And you've done great things. I mean, they got you down in the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. Is that correct for the Chicago area?
Yeah, when I was
Wow.
I think 31, I was
That's
a youngin'.
amazing. What did the recognition mean for you personally? I know you mentioned that core values and things like that. How did that really
It
home
was
for you in the Chicago
just
area?
another Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just another Tuesday, Ray. Just move on to the next. Like, it wasn't, and that's one of the struggles I had at that time. I didn't really smell the roses very often. I was always working, and so I know that the grind movement is really popular right now. I'm kind of like the anti-grind guy. Like, I see it how now that doesn't mean I don't want people to work hard and to accomplish things,
Right.
but typically the grind says, hey, put everything you've got into your work. And then what happens is people start to identify themselves only as the worker in them. Whereas I'm a father, and I want to be described as a great dad too. And I want to be described as these other things, not just what my work accomplishments are. And I don't want to be reduced down to that. And so I want to treat time with my kids like it's a client meeting, like it's a super important client meeting. And I can do both when I get rid of the distractions of my workday. So by getting better at my work, I'll be more present at home. But if I don't, it's the family that always pays the price because we won't let that client down. And so again, that's why I'm kind of like the anti-grind movement, but not really against anti-accomplishment. Like I want to do great things, but don't lose yourself over it. I'm about to kick off a survey, and so I'm going to give you a sneak peek to it, where I'm going to say, if you knew that starting your business and running your business was going to cost you your family, would you still open it?
No.
And a lot of people are going to say yes, which is extremely scary and sad. And then other people would say no. And then we'd push back to those that say no and say, well, why are you letting it destroy your family? Right? So like ask the wife, does she think that the grind movement is sexy? Or so entrepreneurs are justifying their complete commitment to their work and neglect of their family, and they're actually being celebrated for doing so. And it's like, no. That's not right. Let's bring peace, your personal peace, back to the center of it and work off of that.
The center. I like that, man. That's a lot of people that can't find the center, or, keeping that balance, work life, how do you keep that balance? And that's really hard for a lot of people. So that survey does touch home with a lot of people in the way you finished it up with, well, why is it that, that's being contemplated between the two? Why are you having that fight internally? I like that.
Thank you.
Keep up with that one. That's a good one.
Great. Thank you.
It makes me contemplate it the way you pitched it to me as well. So, so you got milestones for the company. You got them for yourself. You got goals that you're looking to accomplish. I mentioned a number about 1,000 jobs per day, I think. So you're probably trying to get numbers ready to see if you exceeded that. Probably. What's some of the goals you're looking at in the future? Where can we see that going? Maybe a year or 5 years from now.
So within the next year, I'd like to acquire a competitor and integrate. We've got really sound management practices that's super scalable. And so to find another company that's in a similar, that maybe has one of the services that we provide and has a similar kind of client base, but maybe different retailers. I'd love to acquire that business and further develop their people and offer our wider offering of services to all of their clients, and then it just kind of grow through acquisition. That's much better for me because I am a scaler and I know how to develop a leadership team, develop the whole program for it. So I'd love to do that, and then hopefully land a few organic clients along the way, and get to the 2,500 projects per day. That would be great.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a good number. Okay. Yeah, I think you can reach that goal. I think that's reasonable. And I think with the values that you bring to the table and all the things you share with us, you're going to make that milestone and you're going to crush it. So, yeah, keep going.
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah. So facility maintenance changes, technology changes with the artificial intelligence, AI. How has Resicom prepared itself for the future?
So we're in this simple business that we have to fix things that break. So if the toilet backs up or something, something's broken, we need to get out there and fix it. They can't lock the front door. We've got to get out there. So there's this emergency kind of side to it, and this break fix side that I don't believe is going anywhere. The AI tools really around processing data. People are more and more comfortable looking at data. Right now, there's a lot of noise around it. So being able to show people, hey, if we do X and Y, then Z can happen. That part of it is there, and people are just more analytical now, which I love because it allows me to communicate in a language they understand. So I'm testing out something right now where I wrote a book and I've written all kinds of like internal like messages of the week. And so I'm pumping them into a tool and trying to see like how would this bot respond to a new challenge, because I'm trying to give my team access to more of my insights, not as what they should do, but hey, here's the situation we're facing, and then having all of my writings there put into it to see what answer it kicks out. Not for them to use it, but we're just kind of testing this out a little bit. And it's really exciting because it gives them access to a manager that much faster. Another piece in that is just basically asking 50 questions where I answer all 50 questions that shape a logic as well. So we're testing things out like this just to speed like an idea or a direction of a solution before people have to ask anyone about it, which I like.
Wow, that's pretty slick. I almost want to say WWJD.
You know it exactly. Well, we want to follow that as much as we can.
Oh,
The problem is that we don't know what he would do in every situation, so we can't program it.
yeah, WW. What would John do?
Yeah, right. There we go.
There you go. All right. Wow. So I mean, those trends, that's one. I mean, I'm probably sure you've seen other ones out there. Is there any that you see that are attractive as well out there in the market that people are using for dispatching, maybe, or predictive maintenance, sustainability reporting?
There's a lot to that. We're not ready to pull the trigger on those things. Again, that's this sample is to establish a logic and then see what happens with it and then load the data. So I have hundreds of thousands of projects that have been completed where I have all the data points. So we haven't always kept all the data points, but like what's the scope, what's the dollar amount, what was the time, the turnaround, and things like that. So we're using Power BI to process data and give it challenges. Like internally, we're giving it challenges and saying, hey, why is it? One of the things we figured out was that work that's dispatched to us on Wednesdays takes longer to complete than any other day of the week. And so, like, why is that? And it's not that there's anything special about Wednesdays other than Wednesdays, some of the completion dates are on Saturday. And so because the completion day is not to Saturday, oftentimes those tickets got pushed back, and we were able to go back and say, wait a minute, let's take everything that's due on a Saturday and behave as if it's due on a Friday. And that's how we remedied our issue with Wednesday work orders taking longer than that was our worst day. And this was why. And some people would think, oh, it was the weekend ones. No, things generated on the weekend are an emergency. You get on site for them on an emergency basis. It was Wednesday that was our culprit. And so that's one of the powerful things about having data and knowing how to process it.
That's perfect. I mean, man, you guys are got data. I'm sure it's coming from all different angles. I mean, that's huge. I mean, when you see that all out there and people want to, follow that same principles. I mean, you guys are packing it in. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to give us this episode, something to reference and to look back at and say, hey, John's trying to make changes and go in the right direction for growth and success. I think that's going to be great. I think your story shows whether maintenance facilities are hauling freight. When it comes down to consistency and the frequency of how you do things, leadership, and willing to resolve issues, I think you guys are making a huge difference there at Resicom Group. So keep up the great work. So anything you want to let the listeners know about how they can reach out to you guys and work with you, partner with you?
Sure. So they can connect with us on our website, johnfairclough.com, and our YouTube channel. We're doing a lot of things on YouTube, and that's the John Fairclough. And great things. We're having incredible growth there. I mean, like 11% compounded daily growth. So on October 1st, we had 3,700 subscribers. And right now we're over 400,000 subscribers. So we'll be at 1 million subscribers well before Christmas, maybe before the end of November.
Keep it up, man. I'm rooting for you guys. That's awesome. Great job.
Great job. Yeah, I'll send you a note once we get there.
There you go. I look forward to it. That's awesome. So big ups to you guys out there, all the work you're doing, man. Keep up the great work, and we'll keep on getting it delivered to you. Trucking is a pivotal part of it as well. Hopefully they come through for you and put it in the right place and not damage it or lose it. So
for sure,
that is critical as well. So thanks for sharing that. Great knowledge for other companies out there to learn from, and I hope too that the AI artificial intelligence that you're developing in any way that can get that in someone's hands for when it comes to decisions. I think that's a great idea. So don't let that one go. So yeah, that's it for listeners out there. Can they reach you on LinkedIn or any places like that as well?
Yes, LinkedIn, John Fairclough. Yes.
All right. So, all right. Well, that's another episode of That's Delivered. The host Truck and Ray, and we're really glad to have you on the show. And for anyone out there that's willing to work with the Resicom Group, learn more about their major work and the brands that they're doing across the U.S. and beyond, be sure to check out those links in the notes. All right. Well, that's it.
Great. Thank you, Ray.
Are you a trucker looking for a safe and reliable place to park? Look no further than Truck Parking Club. With locations across the country, we've got the perfect spot waiting for you, whether it's daily or long-term parking. And right now, use promo code DELIVERED at checkout for an exclusive discount. Reserve your spot today at truckparkingclub.com and drive stress-free, knowing your parking is covered.